I've spent years trying dozens of photo recovery software, and today I'll show you the 5 tools I keep coming back to. Here's the thing, every tool on this list can recover photos just fine, but each one is unique in its own way. I'll walk you through what I like about each and what makes it stand out specifically for photo recovery. So let's get into it. Number 1, DiskDigger. First up is DiskDigger, the best photo recovery software I've used and the most balanced one too. You get a clean interface, useful filters, strong preview, and consistently good results. I've used DiskDigger on a corrupted camera SD card, a formatted USB drive, and simply deleted photos from an HDD. Each time it found all the photos I needed. It supports most of the file systems you'll run into on Windows and Mac, and even Linux formatted drives. But for photo recovery specifically, the big thing is RAW support. When DiskDigger has to rely on signature scanning, it can still recognize a wide range of camera formats, including common ones like CR2, CR3, ARW, NEF, and less common ones like RAF, ORF, SR2, or X3F. When the file system records are still available, it can restore photos regardless of format. It also has useful extras for recovering photos from unstable drives, like smart monitoring and disk imaging. If you also need to recover camera videos, Advanced Camera Recovery can help with fragmented video files. The one thing I'll flag is that there's no Linux version. For everything else, I can't think of a better image recovery software. Number 2, PhotoRec. PhotoRec is one of the few free photo recovery software options that feels genuinely capable. It's open source, works on Windows, Mac, and Linux, and scans by file signature. That means it can dig photos out of a drive even when the file system itself is gone. Photos are probably its strongest side because it supports a huge list of image and RAW formats. I've used it a few times on unreadable old SD cards, and it still managed to pull JPEGs and a handful of RAW files off them. The catch is usability. There's no preview, no file names, no folder structure, and everything gets dumped into one big folder that you then sort through manually. The interface is rough too. On Mac and Linux, you're dealing with the command line. On Windows, you can use PhotoRec, a GUI version, but it's still pretty basic. Overall, it's messy, but if the goal is getting photos back for free, it does the job well. Number 3, DiskDigger. Next is DiskDigger. What makes it different is that it's not just a PC tool, it also works on Android. That's how I first found it. I needed to recover a few photos from a phone's internal storage, and DiskDigger actually helped. I had to root the phone first though, because without root, Android recovery is very limited. Only later did I find out it also has a Windows version, and that one is very focused on photo recovery compared with other file types. It's lightweight, portable, easy to use, and works pretty well with JPEGs and common RAW formats. It also recovers files for free, but with a 5-second delay in manual saving one by one. So if you're dealing with hundreds of photos, it gets annoying really fast. As for other limits, quick scans on exFAT and NTFS can miss files. Deep scan is basically for FAT-based drives. If the card is corrupted, the partition is gone, or the drive doesn't read properly, DiskDigger just isn't built for that kind of case. For me, DiskDigger is a quick picture recovery software, especially interesting because of Android. Useful, but definitely not a full recovery suite. Number 4, AnyRecover. AnyRecover is another decent photo recovery tool, but it has one feature none of the others here have: photo repair. If you pulled an SD card out mid-write or recovered photos that won't open, this feature can make damaged images viewable again. In my case, I was able to fix a few dozen photos that came back broken, so it works fine. The catch is that this feature isn't built into the main recovery app. You have to download it separately, which is kind of a general issue with AnyRecover's extra features. As for recovery itself, it handles simple photo recovery cases well and supports most common photo formats. The interface is also easy to use, but preview is limited for some photo formats. exFAT recovery is weaker, RAW recovery is uneven, and there's no useful free recovery limit, so you can't properly test the actual recovery without paying. Overall, AnyRecover is good for simple photo recovery and useful when repair is needed, but for serious camera card recovery, the limits are pretty noticeable. Number 5, SanDisk RescuePRO. Last on the list is SanDisk RescuePRO, This is the tool I'd mainly use if you bought a SanDisk SD card and it came with an activation code in the box. That's actually how I first tried it. It's built specifically around photo and video recovery from flash media like SD cards and USB drives. The regular version can handle simple deleted photo recovery pretty well. The deluxe version adds broader RAW support and fragmented video recovery if you need that too. The interface looks dated, but honestly, I wouldn't expect much more from a brand utility like this. The bigger issue is that it's not made for harder cases. If the file system is damaged, the partition is missing, or the card is acting seriously weird, RescuePRO probably won't get far. So if you just need to undelete some photos from flash media, it can be a pretty good option, but I wouldn't treat it as more than that. So let's wrap this up. If I had to pick the best photo recovery software for PC, I'd go with DiskDigger. It's simple, powerful, and covers pretty much all the common photo recovery cases. The other tools are less versatile, but still worth your attention. PhotoRec is free and powerful. DiskDigger can be used directly on Android. AnyRecover helps with damaged photos repair, and RescuePRO can be a decent bonus if you already have an activation code lying around. If this was helpful, leave a like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one.